Hello guys, we are the first year student of University Malaysia Sabah at taking the course Electrical and Electronic Engineering. In this video, we will present about the process of etching a printed circuit board PCB layout on a PCB. Without wasting the time, let us start. Materials and apparatus. There are some materials and apparatus that we should prepare before the etching. Firstly, we must have the hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, and vinegar, which are the important materials used in the etching process. Then we must prepare an empty PCB and a copy of the circuit design on the waste paper. Besides, we should also have the rough sponge, sandpaper, and alcohol swabs, which are used to clean the surface of PCB. The other things that we should prepare is a small container, a big container, iron which is used in transferring the design, and water heater to boil the water.
Basically, to etching a PCB, the most important thing is designing the circuit first. We use Portis to design the circuit, and where you can use any software that you are using to draw your circuit layout. After designing, we print out the circuit design on the wax paper, and now we can proceed to the next step, which is cleaning the PCB. We use the rough sponge and sandpaper to scrub the PCB to clean the copper surface of the PCB. This is to ensure the oxide on the surface of the copper is removed. Next, we use the alcohol swab to clean the PCB by removing the excess substances and oil after we have done scrubbing. After the PCB has fully dried, we can proceed to the next step. And now, we will ironing the circuit design that we have printed on the wax paper to the PCB. We start to iron the wax paper onto the PCB to transfer our circuit designs onto the copper surface of the PCB. And after some time of ironing, we can remove the wax paper little by little to make sure the design is transferred to the copper surface of the PCB, especially the wire part of our design. This is to make sure that if the circuit design is not fully attached, we should do the ironing again until the circuit design is fully attached to the PCB. This is to prevent the excess etching.
Etching process. Firstly, we pour the hot water into the big container. Then, we pour 80% of vinegar and 20% of hydrogen peroxide into the small container. The two solution is used to react with the copper to etch the design onto the PCB. After that, the small container is put into the big container, and now the PCB is put into the small container and shake gently. We can put some of the salt to speed up the reaction, but do not put too much since it will react with the solution also. And please make sure the temperature is remained high so it can carry out the reaction. Increase the temperature will increase the reaction time for the chemicals to react with the copper. After almost half an hour, the etching process is done. However, if there is some part have not been etched, we should put back the PCB until it is almost fully being etched. Scrubbing off the ink. Lastly, we use the rough sponge again to scrub off the printer ink. After scrubbing, the circuit is completely printed on the PCB. Now, we can start to solder the components on the PCBs.